I was like 36, 37 years old. It wasn't too long ago that I got this job. The space shuttle, as you know, goes 17,000 miles per hour when it lifts up in an elliptical orbit around the Earth that we know it. There's atmosphere. It's called low Earth orbit. The astronauts, when they go up, they say that when they're going up, it's like somebody, they're in a reclined position when they're going up vertical, and it's like somebody just steps into their chest and then holds their foot into their chest because of the differential in pressure. I was over propulsion systems for safety and mission assurance. Now for the program, we had program managers and everything. We had, and I won't go into the details, but what would happen, sitting on controls, have my headphones on, and I would hear Marshall Space Flight Center, safety and mission assurance. Are you a go for flight? And I was one of the ones that had the opportunity to say, Marshall Space Flight Center is a go. I would practice it. It was so exciting to go to every space shuttle launch and represent the propulsion systems that got the shuttle off the ground, going 17,000 miles per hour, reaching an elliptical orbit over the Earth that we know, above the atmosphere that we breathe, for space science, research, technology advancements. I would get the call. Marshall Space Flight Center, safety and mission assurance. Are you a go? I'd say, Marshall Space Flight Center is a go. 9 minutes before the shuttle was to take off. If I say Marshall Space Flight Center is a no-go for flight, there's going to be a whole lot of people wanting to know why. Because that meant they couldn't go. But by that time, we had worked out every problem, as you might imagine. And then while I was sitting in my seat, I would hear 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and liftoff of America's space shuttle. And we would sit in our seats and we would look out the window of the flight control room. We call it the LCC. And you could see people off their seats as we saw the shuttle lift off the ground. And you could kind of hear the vibration in your body, wanting to believe that it was vibrating, but you could hear it and the windows would start to vibrate. And while each one of us, we came out of our seats and we continued to look through the window as we saw the space shuttle go out of sight. And then we would watch on multiple video screens what was happening to America's space shuttle as it went into its elliptical orbit. 8.5 minutes, you would hear the space shuttle has reached MECO. And we would all clap. We would high-five each other. There would be hugs in the flight control room. And everybody would be cheering and up and down because we had reached MECO, which meant main engine cutoff. Takes 8.5 minutes, approximately 8 minutes and 31 seconds for the space shuttle to reach MECO. To get me to that place as a 37-year-old, I made a decision. I wanted to be a high-ranking official at NASA doing awesome work. There was a process that I went through that I'd like to offer you today for you to be successful like I was. But one thing that I say to you, you can't do it alone, and it won't be about you. It'll be about the contribution that you are purposed to give in solving a problem. It was one of the most fascinating times of my life, going around launches, meeting astronauts, speaking about it, and making them safe. There's something that's in you a piece that is a piece of destiny. And I'd like to help you to find that out today for those that are not clear, so that you can get your 50-year plan. I remember when I was a young engineer, first African-American woman in my particular group, and the men would come. They'd look at me. Another one would come, look at me. Like, why are you looking at me? We're trying to make sure you're for real. Are you an engineer? Yeah. You work in this group? Yes. It was awesome. So I made a decision. I read that we only use 10 to 15% of our brain, and of this gray matter in between our ears. And I made a decision. I have the ability to use more of my brain, that's what I was going to do. And I was determined to have that SES and be one of the youngest ones ever in NASA's history as a woman and as an African American.